A history of Tide Mills from the Heritage Information Boards on site. By the mid-18th century, the course of the River Ouse had changed so that it emerged at Newhaven, not near Seaford, as it had done before. As shingle built up to close the eastern mouth of the old river course, a tidal creek was formed. The creek was situated in the manor of Bishopstone, owned at the time by the Duke of Newcastle. He leased the land to three West Sussex corn merchants who recognised the potential of the creek to drive a mill. The mill that the merchants built had 5 pairs of millstones, which could grind about 3,500 pounds of flour a week. This was then transported by barge upriver to Lewes or by sea to London. Although the mill was of brick, most of the other buildings used flints from the Downs and beach and were often mixed with recycled stone from other sources. William Catt was the most prosperous and well known of all the mill owners of Tide Mills. In 1808 he took overall control of the mill and expanded its size. He increased the stores, added a blacksmith's, a carpenter's, an office building and a granary. Now I'm going to run through the timeline. So in 1761, the Duke of Newcastle grants permission for West Sussex corn merchants to build a dam and a mill. In 1791, the mill sold for £3,000 to miller Thomas Barton. In 1795, Hungary troops stationed at Seaford, angry at their meagre rations, march on Seaford to steal food. They go to Tide Mills, where they steal over 200 sacks of flour. The riot is quickly brought to an end by the authorities, and the 2 ringleaders are executed at Goldstone Bottom in Hove. 1808, William Catt becomes the sole owner of the mill, which develops and prospers under his leadership. 4 years later, he begins development which increases the number of grinding stones from 5 to 16 pairs and builds a village for his workers. In 1853, William Catt dies and is buried at Bishopstone. The mill was then taken over by his son George. In 1864, the railway extended to Seaford, making it cheaper for farmers to send their grain away for milling. This is the beginning of the end for the mill, which has supplied Sussex with flour for at least 100 years by that time. In 1875, a terrible storm causes flood damage at Tide Mills, forcing shingle into the mill ponds and serious damage to the mill buildings. In 1879, the mill is sold to Newhaven Harbour Company, and in 1883 the mill machinery is sold off. The mill was never to work again. In 1890 the mill building was converted to warehouses, and now in 1901 the mill is finally demolished, but the village continues. In 1906 wireless relay station was established to the west of the village.